In the murky underworld of organized crime, secrecy is everything. Drug lords, arms dealers, and international syndicates rely on encrypted communication to stay one step ahead of the law. But what if their most trusted tool, their lifeline to secrecy, was actually a trap? This is the story of Operation Anom, one of the most audacious sting operations ever conducted by the FBI. A fake encryption app, millions of messages intercepted, and hundreds of arrests around the globe. It's a tale of deception, betrayal, and the relentless pursuit of justice in the digital age. The age of encrypted communication. Over the past decade, organized crime has evolved. Traditional phone lines and face-to-face meetings gave way to encrypted communication apps. These platforms, offering end-to-end encryption, allowed criminals to plan drug shipments, assassinations, and money laundering schemes without fear of interception. One of the most popular apps was Phantom Secure, used by countless criminal organizations. However, in 2018, Phantom Secure was dismantled by law enforcement, leaving a gap in the market. Criminals were desperate for a new tool to communicate safely. Imagine being a law enforcement officer, watching dangerous criminals outsmart you. Why tools you can't crack? It was clear something drastic had to be done. The FBI, in collaboration with the Australian Federal Police, AFP, came up with a bold plan to create their own encrypted communication platform and infiltrate the criminal world from within. This platform would become known as Anom. The idea was simple yet ingenious. Criminals would unknowingly adopt the FBI-designed app, believing it to be secure. In reality, every message sent on Anom would be accessible to law enforcement in real time. To succeed, however, the FBI needed to make Anom look authentic. They partnered with a trusted developer who had connections in the criminal world, ensuring that the app would appear legitimate to its users. Think of the sheer audacity of this plan: law enforcement, creating a tool that criminals would not just use, but trust with their deepest secrets. Spreading the trap, Anom gains popularity. The criminal adoption process. To infiltrate the criminal world, Anom had to be distributed carefully. The FBI and AFP planted the app in key networks through trusted informants and criminal associates. It was marketed as a replacement for Phantom Secure, offering the same level of encryption and privacy. One genius move was making Anom available only on custom devices, stripped of standard features like calling and internet access. This exclusivity increased its appeal among high-level criminals who saw the app as tailor-made for their needs. Within months, Anom spread like wildfire across organized crime syndicates in over 100 countries. Major drug cartels, biker gangs, and even human trafficking rings adopted the app, believing it was impenetrable. Imagine how law enforcement felt as they watched, in real time, some of the world's most dangerous criminals unwittingly hand over their secrets on a silver platter. A mountain of evidence. Once Anom was in play, the FBI and AFP began collecting an unprecedented volume of intelligence. Every text, image, and voice message sent through the app was decrypted and stored. Over 27 million messages were intercepted, providing a treasure trove of evidence against criminal organizations. The content was shocking. Criminals openly discussed drug shipments, planned hits on rivals, and coordinated large-scale money laundering schemes. They felt so secure using Anom that they didn't bother to use code words or obscure language. Think about the arrogance of these criminals, believing they were untouchable, only to have their words turned against them in a court of law. A global day of action. Coordinated raids across the world. In June 2021, after 3 years of monitoring, the FBI and AFP executed their plan. Dubbed the Global Day of Action, law enforcement agencies in over 18 countries launched simultaneous raids based on intelligence gathered from Anom. Over 800 arrests were made. More than $148 million in cash and cryptocurrencies were seized. Law enforcement intercepted 22 tons of drugs, including cocaine, methamphetamine, and heroin. Hundreds of illegal firearms were confiscated. Major criminal syndicates were dismantled, including operations that spanned continents. The success of Operation Anom was unprecedented and marked one of the largest crackdowns on organized crime in history. A new era of law enforcement. Anom wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. It showed that law enforcement could outthink and outmaneuver even the most sophisticated criminals. However, the operation also sparked debate. Privacy advocates questioned the ethics of creating and deploying a surveillance tool like Anom. Others warned that criminals would now become even more cautious, making future investigations more difficult. The power of deception. Anom succeeded because it exploited human nature. Criminals trusted the app because they believed it was designed for them. They never considered that their most trusted tool could be a trap. For law enforcement, the operation set a new standard for creative and proactive policing. It demonstrated that in the digital age, the most powerful weapon isn't brute force, it's strategy. If this story of cunning and justice captivated you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Dark Legend.